Hello, I'm Ben from Mayku, and today we're going to show you how you can save hours per day making retainers. We're going to be using a single 428mm retainer material, and we're going to form up to 19 retainers on a single form. And we're going to go all the way from model to final form, ready for trimming at the bench. And we're also going to time this whole process, so you get a clear indication of exactly how long a single cycle takes. I'm going to start a timer to do that now. And now we're going to run through the process of using the machine. So everything is controlled via this screen and these buttons. It's very simple to use. So we're going to go here and then select what material we're going to choose. The machine comes preloaded with lots of different dental-based profiles. So we're going to go cache. We're using the 428mm size, and then we're going to go down to 1mm, and then continue. And then you can actually customize the fit of every form depending on your patient or your dentist's preferences. So we're going to go +1, which is going to make it a little bit tighter. For this dentist, we're going to take our 428mm sheet, place it into the machine, make sure this is locked off, bring this down, lock it in, and lift it up. The heaters come on. The tanks inside the machine are already pressurized. They start pressurizing as soon as you switch the machine on, but you usually hear quite a loud sound if you just switch this machine on for the first time. So what's going on now is this sheet material is being heated by some heating elements in the top of the dome. One of the wonderful things about this machine is that it has an auto leveling system. What that means is your sheet material is going to remain completely flat as it's being heated up. However, if you do want to increase the height of your sheet, say if you've got a taller model that you need to get more material around, you can actually press these buttons here and it will show on the screen how much that sheet is going to be raised by. So we're just going to be waiting for this material to heat up. And as we're doing that, we can also get our models ready. So we've got some models here. We're going to place these on the bed. We're going to go try and sort of keep them about the same distance apart as they are high. So if they're this high, we're going to try and keep them this wide apart. I'm going to place all of these on the bed. And depending on your model size, you want to be thinking about how many you can really maximize per sheet. So we've actually had 19 on here as our maximum. And we can also see on the screen as we're doing this, what temperature this particular sheet material is getting up to. Now, as it's heating up, there is a slight difference between how much heat is applied to the center of the sheet and how much heat reaches the outside of the sheet. But we've not seen much difference in form quality based on that. So we're just going to place the rest of these models in, space them out a little, and we're getting up to temperature now. There's another one in. There we go. And the machine will also beep at us. We'll hear that in a second when it's actually ready to form. And you can see that the heater is starting to flicker a little bit. That's telling us that it's almost ready. And then any second it'll beep. And we're going to bring this lid down, lock it off, press this button. Now, what you can hear there is about 4 bar of pressurized air being pushed out of the tanks and being applied into that dome and sealed. Now we're going to go through a holding period. So that pressure is actually being held inside that machine on top of those forms for whatever this period is. Now, the holding period itself, you can twist, you can customize, you can set it to whatever you want. Once the holding period is finished, which will be in about 30 seconds, we're going to go into a cooling period. That's going to cool those models, and you'll also hear all of the air be released out of the dome. So by the time you take your forms out, they're going to be completely cool to the touch and ready to trim, which we're going to do in a second. but you can also completely control the cooling time as well. So if you want to bring that cooling time to 30 seconds, you can do, or less. And as soon as the pressure has been released from the machine, we're actually going to be able to open this up ourselves and open out. So pressure now. And you can also hear that the compressor has now switched back on. So what that means is it's getting ready to compress all of the tanks so you can do your next form straight away. So you can basically be running this machine all day, cycle after cycle, without having to wait for the tanks to pressurize. So it's about 19 appliances per cycle, if your model sizes are okay to do 19. And it will also give you a score. So this is a 97, which is not my best, but that is dependent on how well we've brought that top down, locked it off, and pressed this button. And once this is done, we can continue. It'll tell us to unlock the lid, unlock the material, and then open it up. And there we have our first form. And these are really ready for cutting. The machine is still pressurizing, ready to do our next form. So I'm actually going to switch that off, so it's a bit quieter. I'm going to take some Kevlar scissors, which we have here. I'm going to go into the center, cut around these, like so. And then almost like a pizza, just cut into the center of each of these. The other one's one snip, quite easy. Around here. We got this one, this one, and this one. Let's finish the timer. Now we've got all of our cut models, which are ready to take to the bench and start actually trimming them, removing them, and moving on to your next process.